like we are starting with the speedboat portion of our tour. So hold on to all of your loose items. Let me hear you get excited. Who is ready for a speedboat tour? There's some groups of you who are excited, but I think you can be more excited. Who is ready for a speedboat? Yeah, I like it.
In the summer, to my heartbeat sound.
Architecture portion of our tour. So welcome to Chicago. Raise your hand if you're from the Chicago area. Oh, South Washington. Okay. Where's everyone else from? You can shout it out. Cincinnati. Cincinnati. New York. Morocco. Mexico. Okay, well, welcome everybody to Chicago. Chicago has a population of about 2.27 million people in the city proper, and a greater metropolitan area of over 9 million people. Of course, we'd expect somewhere. Chicago's officially Bubbly Creek, because of the methane gas from all the bubbles would rise up towards the surface from all the industrial waste. Upton Sinclair also described an expected jungle.
No speeding.
Out of Chicago River was so solid in some portions that a chicken could walk across it. And that is not how you want your river described. Anyway, we realized we finally needed to do something about this around 1885. That was when we had subsequent year-after-year outbreaks of typhoid and cholera and other diseases. And we finally realized it was because of the water source. As a result, the city of Chicago contacted an for the Great Chicago Fire, 1871. The third one is for the Columbian Exposition of 1893, and the fourth one is for the World's Fair of 1933. I'm going to pause for a moment to remind everyone to keep their whole body on the boat, especially important at this time. Keep your whole body, including all of your arms, your head, everything in the boat at this time. Anyway, so starting with the first major historical event pictured on the Chicago flag, that is Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie was established in around 1778 by John Baptiste Point du Sable. John Baptiste Point du Sable was a black man who married an indigenous Potawatomi woman. They ended up establishing Fort Laramie here in Chicago, approximately at the site of where the Apple Store is today. So just a little bit down the Chicago River on the right. They were very successful entrepreneurs, in part because they spoke multiple languages, but more importantly because they maintained neutrality. So they were able to continue trading with all of the different groups of people that passed by the Chicago area. John Baptiste Point du Sable was really the first person to recognize the potential economically of this area because we were very central within the country and located along the water. For that reason, many people consider John Baptiste Point du Sable to be the founder or... This next building here is the Reed and Murdoch building. The Reed and Murdoch building was constructed in 1914. This style of architecture is Chicago school and prairie style. first style is where you can tell where it gets its signature red color from. If you look at the Reed Murdoch building closely and you count the windows on either side, you may notice that this building is actually lopsided. That just happens to be the way it was constructed. It was actually even longer on this side as well, but the part of it was literally chopped off in order to expand LaSalle Street here. Coming up next on the right, the huge white building is the Merchandise Mart. The Merchandise Mart was the largest building in the world under one roof when it was fully constructed in 1930. It is also a Grant Anderson Post and white design. The style of it is Art Deco, which is typical for the time period. It's a huge building, as you can see. It has a total square footage of about 4.2 million and about a total of 85 miles of hallways. If it already wasn't big enough, in 1977 they expanded it because they included an indoor walkway connecting this building to a nearby Fashion House building to the east. So back it had its own zip code until around 2008. It also was home to the CTA for a while, so it has its own CTA stop as well. Also, the Merchandise Mart is the largest projection screen in the country because it's just rounded, because it's just rectangular and flat and white. They can use it as a projection screen, and there's art on the mart that's featured occasionally. But plans were drastically scaled back after 9/11. Now it is only majorly going to zero and a completed construction in 2009. It is also a postmodern style building. Coming up next on the right here is AMA Plaza. AMA Plaza was designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. This building was constructed in 1971 after Van der Rohe's death. It is an international style of architecture. Originally, it was home to IBM, which is a computer company. That means that the building was really hot, so the building needed to design a reverse refrigeration system in order to literally suck all of the heat from the computers and building people inside, from inside the building to the outside. Van der Rohe's approach to design is especially clear with AMA Plaza. Is that buildings should be what they look like. So if you look at AMA Plaza, you think that's an office building, and he's like, yes, that's an office building. However, these buildings here are Marina City Towers. Marina City Towers was designed in 1964 by Bertrand Goldberg. Goldberg was a student of Van der Rohe, but he had a different approach to design. His idea was that buildings should not only be functional, but they should also be beautiful. So Marina City Towers were supposed to look like sunflowers falling from the sky. However, me and most Chicagoans see them as two giant corn cobs, so we affectionately call them the corn cobs. Marina City Towers was designed in 1964 in order to combat a whole bunch of people moving away from the city. This next building here is the Reed Murdoch building. The Reed Murdoch building was constructed in 1914. This style of architecture is Chicago school and prairie style. The prairie style is where you can tell where it gets its signature red color from. If you look at the Reed Murdoch building closely and you count the windows on either side, you may notice that this building is actually lopsided. That just happens to be the way it was constructed. It was actually even longer on this side as well, but the part of it was literally chopped off in order to expand LaSalle Street here. Coming up next on the right, the huge white building is the Merchandise Mart. The Merchandise Mart was the largest building in the world under one roof when it was fully constructed in 1930. It is also a Grant Anderson Post and white design. The style of it is Art Deco, which is typical for the time period. It's a huge building, as you can see. It has a total square footage of about 4.2 million and about a total of 85 miles of hallways. If it already wasn't big enough, in 1977 they expanded it because they included an indoor walkway connecting this building to a nearby Fashion House building to the east. So back it had its own zip code until around 2008. It also was home to the CTA for a while, so it has its own CTA stop as well. Also, the Merchandise Mart is the largest projection screen in the country because it's just rounded, because it's just rectangular and flat and white. They can use it as a projection screen, and there's art on the Mart that's featured occasionally on the completed construction in 2017, so it's a newer building. Again, the blue color of it and the waves of the arches is supposed to reflect the Chicago River. The arches in front is not only a very cool design aesthetic, but it also helps to deflect rainwater. So as people are walking inside, they won't get wet if it's raining. But also, more importantly, it helps to collect that rainwater on either side. That helps give the building its highest seal of approval of environmental friendliness that a building can receive. It also has the largest plaza out of any building in the city. The plaza is about 1.5 square acres and 3 stories tall. Coming up next on the right here, this is 150 North Riverside Plaza. This is a very interesting slanted design. It's constructed that way because of a concept known as air rights. Air rights means that whoever owns the rights to railroad tracks on the ground also owns all of the rights to the air above those railroad tracks. This building wanted to get out of paying a whole bunch of air rights, so they decided to construct the building at an angle so that it would be as directly atop of a railroad track. It has the largest I-beam out of any building in the city in order to support that. When it was completed in 2017, it received the highest award from the Chicago Architectural Society as a result. The base of the building is actually only on about 20. Coming up next on the right here, this is the Boeing Building. The Boeing Building is an international style of architecture. It was constructed around 1992, 1993. This building has to pay a whole lot of air rights. In fact, they have to pay about 1.3 billion in air rights every year. Now, you know, I went to North Riverside Plaza, wanted to get out of that. It's no longer home to the Boeing Company. That's the Boeing Building. Anyway, this building here is 2 North Riverside Plaza. 2 North Riverside Plaza is an Art Deco style architecture. It was constructed around 1927. This was at the height of the Egyptian craze in the United States because it was right after King Tut's tomb was murdered. So everything Egyptian, from fashion to makeup to architecture, was very popular. It's Egyptian inspired. The 2 entrances on the front on either side is supposed to resemble the entrance to an Egyptian tomb. There is also various obelisks and various other Egyptian-inspired art decor. Interestingly, it was also the first building in the city to have its front entrance face the Chicago River. That tells you a whole lot about the city of the Chicago River. If buildings with prime property along the river did not want to have their front entrance facing it. That was all for 2 North Riverside Plaza. Now, if you look to your right, you can see a whole bunch of trains. Chicago, of course, has a whole bunch of cargo trains, but there's also a number of passenger train lines, including the Metra and the CTA. Chicago has the most train intersections out of any major city. We also have the most elevated passenger trains out of any major city. We're known for having the L, or elevated train. We got the first elevated train line around 1892, connecting Chicago to the suburb of what is now Oak Park. We got another elevated train a year after that, and we just continued expanding our elevated train network from then on. Coming up next, we will have a great view of the Sears Tower. We will be turning around. We will be able to see the Sears Tower head on. The Sears Tower isn't technically known as the Willis Tower because in 2005, the Willis Group acquired naming rights. They have until 2025, but it will always be the Sears Tower in my heart. The Sears Tower was the tallest building in the world from when it was constructed in 1973 for over 25 years until 1998. It stands at approximately 1,451 feet tall, not including antennas. Including the antennas, it is over 1,700 feet tall. The Sears Tower was designed by a duo named Graham and Kahn. Graham was an architect and Kahn was an engineer by trade. Together, they made a great duo in order British found some really tall, really structurally sound buildings. They pioneered a system known as bundling 2,